And then having that place where you're at kind of now sounds like finding that meaning.
Yeah.
Finding the meaning, finding understanding, but it's also grateful that you had such a good support network.
Yes.
The support network sounded like they were throwing gems and pushing you and trying to be there for you and like, go girl, do your thing.
Yeah.
Which is important, right? That needs to be done.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful that you had that. I'm happy for you to have that, right? Because I promise you, when I heard the news, I was in shock. And because we grew up together, I know what it's like. I know how your family is, the relationship with your father. I know how close you were. Like, daddy's going, that's my daddy, that's my daddy, that's my daddy.
Sure was.
And so I'm like, I literally, I remember my first thought was like, how is she even standing up? How did she even take that news? Because I know myself, there are people close to me that if something happened like that, it would feel like the bottom fell out from under. I'll just be free falling, right? Emotionally. And so I of course, send prayers, and I thought of you a lot, and I thought of the whole family, right? Of course, I came to see everyone, but it's just like, wow, so to really know though, right? Because it's like, and then for me on the other side, like as a friend, I was like, okay, do I lay it on thick? Do I do too much? Do I call a lot? Do I show up all the time? And I'm a therapist, so I'm low-key trying to turn that off. Like, no, they don't need your therapist. They just need you. They just need stuff.
How do you really feel?
I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Like, since I don't know how I feel. I don't know.
I know. So I was like, oh my God, what can I do? And I know people bring food, so I was like, oh, they probably like so much food already. What do I do? So that's why I was like, let me just go and sit. One thing I've learned is giving people your presence. Just being. Sometimes is worth more than any plate of food. So I'm like, well, if everybody else is doing food, I'm not gonna do food. I'll come, I'll sit, I'll give you my time. I'll give you the gift of time. I'll give you my presence, right? And I'm glad I was able to do that the few times. I know it wasn't easy in terms of like scheduling and all that, but it worked out. So the stages for you has just been so interesting, hearing how you're doing that and in finding meaning. So I'm wondering, since we're talking about support right now, right? We're talking about network, right? So when people are grieving, I often think it's best to have a group of people, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whatever, right? You need to be able to do that, right? To kind of lean on these people. Now, does everyone have that? Absolutely not. That's why there are grief groups, grief support or counseling. You can go to individual therapy, right? You can try to connect with others the best you can in that moment. But I find that personally, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but personally, having a network is really important. And I know you, I admire your friendships.
No, thank
I was like,
you.
yo, they hold her down.
They be holding me down. Yo, my girls be holding me down.
They hold her down. I said, wow. And
my guy friends too. So don't give me no attitude.
Guy friends too. Guy friends too.
All my friends hold me down.
They hold her down. I was like, wow. And I'm like, they really rallied around your time of weakness, which to me is a trait that you don't see too often anymore in friendships. And it's just like, I want the people that have those kind of friendships to come out and be like, yo, I love my friends. They hold me down. They're here for the downs, the ups. They didn't just leave. Like, I really love that. And it's just like, it's not about these little tit for tat moments. It's just like, no, or pettiness or strife and tiff. It's just, I love this person and now they're down. And I'm going to lend them my support. I'm going to lend them my joy when they can't laugh, right? I'm going to lend them energy when they don't have it. Or I'm going to be a safe space when they just need to just let it out. You need people like that. And I just loved seeing that with your friends in the way they did that. And so I'll let you speak more to it, but how did all of this impact the friendships, your family relationships, heck, even dating, if you had time for that girl, or if you had time to think about it, So let me.
We could talk a little bit about dating. Like I'm gonna start with your support first.
Okay.
Steph, that was a really great question about talking about support. I don't know where I would be without it. Somebody recently asked me if I hated God for what He did, and I said no. I was angry with God. He knows that. But I felt like even in the midst of this deep pain, probably, is the deepest pain I've ever experienced. I could not hate him because of the fact that he kept sending angels to me. I called my support group my angels. I don't think I would be here with you without you checking in, my family checking in, my friends checking in. When the grief initially started, I didn't know what to say because I'm trying to figure this out myself. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't forget not one call or text from everybody during that time. It could just be thinking of you. Even though I didn't respond, people just kept sending messages, and I'm telling you, that helped a lot. That helped a lot. So knowing that there was no one took it personally. You know, there was no, okay, you've been dealing with this for this time, you should get over it, right? Right? Okay, right? It was a very strong sense of, I really want you to be better. And the thing about grief too is that nobody knows what to say. And I understand that because you don't know where the person is. You think you might be saying something encouraging, but you're not. Right? So sometimes people would say certain things. You know, people try to get deep. It's like, sis, you're not deep. So let's not try to get offensive here. Stop trying to see little clips on Instagram. Think it's gonna work with me. I am an intellect. So when you talk, I am listening and processing. When people say certain things, it's like, what's going on? Right? So I think for me, one thing I never stopped doing was therapy. 3 weeks after my father passed away, my family and I went to grief counseling.
Okay, great.
Not a lot of people do that, right? But I felt like it was important and imperative because I could not make sense out of it. And of course, my family and we were processing this at all different stages.
I imagine,
And I felt like having someone outsource who can speak to us and say, this is normal.
Okay.
You're not crazy. This is what's going to happen. But how can we move? How can we start moving? Right? So that helped me a lot. My friends just saying, hey, do you want to go to the mall with me? And I would say no all the time. But they never stopped asking. That was the thing. They never stopped asking. Or they'll just come get me. Let's go to dinner. I got a spot. Because, you know, when you're, like, you don't have time to think about nothing.
Absolutely.
Your mind is consumed with what happened. And it just keeps replaying. It's like a movie that just never stops. You know what I mean? It just keeps replaying over and over and over again. So having the opportunity for a friend to say, come as you are. You don't have to be fabulous. And that's how I felt like. I felt like there was a couple of things on my side. So although the support was there, it was more so like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I don't want to talk, I don't want to have a conversation, and I don't want to hear what's going on with you.
Oh, that part.
Congratulations was a trigger word for me.
Okay.
I didn't want to say it, nor did I want to hear it.
Joy.
Therefore, isolation happened, right?
Of course.
So although my friends wanted to be there because the world doesn't stop, as I stated earlier, they have wonderful things happening in their lives.
And they want
I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
I got a new house. I got a new job. I got a new car. And I am a support rallier. You know.
I know.
Everything is a big deal, sis. Here's the diamonds. Right? Everything is a big deal, right? I'm a big supporter. However, in that moment, I couldn't do it. So because I don't want to talk about me, now you're thinking as just a regular human being, all right, let's talk about something else. Oh, so I was like, I didn't want to hear that. So for me, it was like, I can't do it.
You got to pull away.
I had to pull. I felt like I didn't have any other choice. Congratulations was such a big trigger. It was too happy for me. My friend took me out to eat, or my cousin took me out, and we had to leave. The food didn't even come yet, Steph. We had to leave because somebody was celebrating a birthday. All that clapping and happy and joy.
Too much for you. I love this moment, and I think this is so real. I really want to zone in on this moment, right? Because it takes a lot to say, I was so broken or sad or in pain that other people's joy I wanted no parts of, including the ones I love, the people that I would normally be celebrating with or be number one, like, yeah, girl, you go. You're like, no, I couldn't.
And it hurt.
It triggered you, but it also hurt.
It hurt me.
But I wonder if your support system understood that. Because in these moments, that's when it's really important for people to really tap into the love they have for you. Rather than just seeing your behavior.
Right.
Because in that moment, you needed their love so you could function, period.
Right.
And that came with acceptance of where you were at. So you couldn't handle their joy. It was so triggering for you, right? Yeah. But because of their love for you, it seemed like they were able to kind of work through it, not take it personal, not see it as, wow, she's acting different, she's acting funny. Yeah, we get it, you're sad, but what about us? It wasn't selfish like that, right? It was one of those things that sounded like they were like, okay, we get it. It's a lot. It's too much. We are considering you. And so, yeah, you pulled away. But I'm pretty sure it's just like, what? Girl, it's you. I love that moment. I love this moment of vulnerability.
Because they were consistent, right?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there's some people that I've heard from when my father first passed away, and to this day I haven't heard anything
else,
nothing from them, right? Okay. But I will say they were consistent, and I will say that for people who are dealing with someone who is dealing with grief, because we share each other's pain.
Yeah.
When my friend goes through a heartbreak, I'm ready to get the bat too. You're like, don't hurt my friend. Don't make us sad. Don't make us sad. So when I'm going through my grief, my friends also felt that. Yeah. Because it was like, Erica's not her. I'm a very exuberant. So for me to be so, hi.
Yeah.
Hey, it was different. But I will say they were consistent.
Good.
And I will say they respected where I was. And I wasn't able to articulate too much, but because I'm an intellect, I was able to say some things for them to understand that it's not you.
Yeah.
But it hurt me a lot. Like I cried a lot because of my inability to contribute to their joy.
Oh, yeah.
That hurt me a lot,
That's
actually.
the other side of it.
It hurt me a lot. It wasn't on some, I'm grieving so I don't care.
Yeah.
I cared so much, and it hurt me because I was so depressed that I couldn't break or just have a border to say, okay, we're sad, but let's be happy for Stephanie. It was like, no, we're sad. Stay here. And I'm like, no, but I want to. It's like you're trying to reach and you can't.
Yes.
You know? Yes. So that hurt me. It hurt me so much because my friends and family, they were going through so many wonderful changes in their life during that time. Wonderful things, you know? A lot of promotions and babies and marriages and proposals and all of these great things. And I'm like, I want to reach you and I can't.
Yeah.
That's when I said to myself, continuous support was therapy, grief counseling. That's a different level. You know what I mean? They were very paramount in me moving forward because that was a consistent conversation.
Yes.
And although I wasn't consistent with my friends or family, I was consistent with them.
Yeah.
And they helped me kind of pull myself out a little bit.
Yeah.
Erica, why don't you go to dinner with your friend? She asked, you want to go? No? Okay, let's try next week. Okay, let's try next week. And it's like, sis, you keep stirring the pot, you might get a meal.
Yeah.
And she did.
She got a meal.
She got a meal.
She got a meal out of you.
So I finally did take that step. My cousin was getting married and she wanted, Erica, I would love for you to come. But if you don't, I understand.
Yeah.
Right? But I would love for you to be there.
Yeah.
My grief counselor said, you're going to that wedding.
Okay.
First of all, my grief counselor don't play with me.
Did you love when therapists don't play with you?
Oh, I love him. His name is Andre. Okay. I love him. I love Andre.
Shout out Andre.
Shout out to Andre. Shout out to Christina. That's my therapist. That's my girl.
All right, Christina.
They are my angels. They are truly sent from God. Andre said you're going to the wedding. And I felt like Andre I'm not going to the wedding. He said, no, but you are. You have to go. So I was telling him this because my cousin invited me. And I didn't respond to her right away. I think I responded a couple of days because I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm happy for her, number one. Like, you know, getting married was something that she's always wanted. We always talked about it in terms of dating. That's what you want, right? So I'm so happy for my cousin. And I'm like, the initial thought was, I don't want to go to this wedding and I'm depressed and I'm ruining her big moment. That's how I looked at it. Of course,
yes.
Right?
I would look at it that way too.
This is her moment. She should be happy.
Yeah.
And he said, Erica, this is going to be good for you on so many levels. Number one, you're going to be surrounded by love.
Yep.
Number two, you have to start practicing this because that was my first big family event post-grief.
Got it.
I remember a lot of my first post-grief because it's like I'm starting over again.
Yes.
Right? My first dinner.
Re-entering the world.
My first conversation with somebody that I laughed. The moment that I took a shower and I'm like, I smelled the perfume because I wasn't smelling anything before. I didn't see anything before. Everything was gray and dark and ugly. So when he said, you're going to this, it was months of him talking to me every week for hours, trying to tell me, to prep me to go to this wedding. So I said, okay, fine. Let's have a compromise. I'll go, but I'm going to tell her that I might not go if I'm emotional, because I don't know how I'm going to feel.
Okay.
He said, all right, we'll take it, but you're going to go. He was very adamant, like, you're going to go.
Yeah, you're going.
But I'm grateful because going to that wedding opened up something for me.
Okay.
It was beautiful to see her. I was so happy to see her walk down the aisle. She looked so beautiful. The wedding was beautiful. I was around family. It was love. It was love romantically, but it was love family-wise. Right. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful time. And it was a couple of days. So it was just fun from beginning to end.
Okay.
It was great. So just having that support for that. You know, having support. You talked about grief groups. I'm a part of that too.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, girls! Because we still talk.
Of course.
And, you know, we formed the grief group. As you know, grief groups don't last long.
Yeah.